Good morning, this is the Eager Beaver Show.
You are listening to a True North Eager Beaver Media Incorporated podcast. True North Eager Beaver podcasts are proudly brought to you by our founding sponsors, the Miss V Mysteries from Corvid Moon Publishing, your source for science fiction, fantasy, and cozy mysteries featuring a broad diversity of characters. PsychicTarot.ca, book your tarot reading and unlock your spiritual journey. And the Pepper Master, hot pepper sauces made from farm-fresh ingredients to thrill your taste buds and expand your mind. Well, good morning and hello, kids, and welcome to Season 4 and episode number 631 of the Daily Beaver Morning Show. 100% Canadian. Today, recording day is Tuesday, April 22nd, 2025. And it looks like it's trying to be a nice day here at the Beaver Lodge. Lots of cloud in the sky, but I do see some sort of breaks in the cloud where some sun can come out and there's some light trying to force its way through. So we'll go with that. Yesterday here at the Beaver Lodge, there was one moment around 6 o'clock in the evening where the clouds parted enough where there'd be a little bit of sunlight for about 50 seconds. And I happened to be outside when it happened. So I lived off that yesterday because it was a pretty gray and rainy here and a little sad and just one of those kind of days. So
might want to turn the saturation down on your camera a little bit. You're looking awfully pink. You were really pale the other day, and now you're super pink.
I know it depends on how much light is outside. It keeps on changing.
Yeah, it's the lighting. So that's why you have to keep on top of it. Because I'm always adjusting mine, even though I have control over lighting. Sometimes the camera lens just does finicky, wonky things. I don't know.
Yeah. Okay. Well, that might not work that way right now. So just maybe it changed at this end. There we go.
There you go. That's better.
Yeah. Better lighting.
We got the glare, but that's fine. That's good. Yeah, we can live with that. Yeah.
All right. Yeah, I look like I have some rosacea here.
Yeah.
Interesting.
I definitely have some rosacea, but
yeah, but I don't.
I actually do have it. Yeah, you look like you have it, but I'm the one who has it. Go figure.
Gee, it's amazing that I washed out the last 2 days and now I'm like in Technicolor.
Yeah. I don't. Sometimes tech is weird. It's lighting control, right? Like because you have a window in front of you, and I'm in an enclosed space.
Oh, maybe today I need to open the Drake Brothers and close it.
Maybe.
We'll try that. Okay. Kids.
You look sunburned.
Pardon?
It says Argosy Acres. You look sunburned.
Yeah, I know. It's like one day in the sun. Look, that 50 seconds in the sun. Look what it did.
50 seconds. Yeah, you need a 200 block.
Gee, man, climate change. Woo.
Yeah. Intense.
It's intense. Oh my God. And if I go right here, the reflection from the red.
Yeah. Makes it even
wow.
brighter.
Okay. Interesting. Okay. Maybe we can play with that somehow. So yes, a big thank you goes to our podcast founding sponsors, the Pepper Master, the Miss V Mysteries from Corvid Moon Publishing, and Psychic Tarot Canada, or psychictarot.ca if you're online. Mr. Grizzly, how's your mental health today, sir? I'm going to see if the opening the drapes does fix something a bit here.
Well, to be honest with you, I've mental health wise, I think I'm pretty good. I'm just a little tired. I did wake up quite early. I went to bed early though. After watching, I watched the hockey game, went straight to bed. Thankfully, Winnipeg pulled off a second victory as they are well on their way. I was yes, yesterday felt terrible all day. I had a few things I had to do, and I had to text people and say, "Look, I'm just not well enough today." I had to push them off till today, which means the things I had planned today now have extra stuff on top of them. So hopefully, I can get everything accomplished today.
Yeah.
I'm trying to set up a couple of meetings, and still, looking for work as I keep telling everybody, and hopefully today I can find something. But we'll see. We'll see. One of the things I wanted to add in there was whether it's cold or allergies. Yesterday, it just knocked me. Well, when I started the show yesterday, I
Right.
told you I wasn't feeling well from the day before, and we finished. I took Lola out. I went and met my buddy, and then it was like I gotta go home and lie down, and that was kind of my day. I had some production work I wanted to do, create some short clips, and do some audition for some ACX books on Audible. My whole day was shot to hell. It just I don't know what it is. I just completely drained of energy, feeling, um, intense migraine from the back quadrant, just right here in the back left side of my head, and that's the only place the pain was, but it was
Hmm.
really intense, and I felt dizzy and lightheaded as a result, so, maybe I should go see the doctor, and I just figured I'd play it out for a day or 2 and see. So far so good
Okay.
today. So,
Hmm.
so, knock on
Wow.
wood.
See, I had the same thing energy-wise. I mean, I was also, congested, the cold I had. It's the congestion's starting to go away. The sneezing and everything has stopped, but I'm still a little clogged here. So it kind of feels like a sinus thing, like like allergies and whatnot. But I know I don't have them.
Mm.
But it's similar. Um, but yeah, just all weekend long. I don't know. It was just I had my beaver suite had gone off to see family for Easter, and I decided not to go so as to not infect everyone. And I thought, okay, I got the place to myself for a couple of days. I'll get ahead on a lot of stuff, and it was just there was nothing in the tank. Same thing. I watched the first match. Well, both matches last night. The sort of side by side, the Winnipeg one and the Montreal one. Oh my God, Montreal! Oh,
Yeah,
oh. Well, listen. Hey, they showed they can hang, right? I mean, there's nothing to be ashamed of in that match, right? That was a good match. It was a good
but
effort.
I mean, they are
Ovechkin.
up
I mean,
against they are up against Ovechkin.
Ovechkin
I
scored
mean,
two.
it's the entire Capitals team, but Ovechkin is
I
on a
know.
mission.
But it's
He's on a
like
mission.
Montreal 2, Ovechkin 2, rest of Washington Capitals 1.
Yeah,
Right. Really. So, yeah.
basic.
So, but hey, they show they can hang. So, no,
Well, I
because there was a
couldn't
little bit of
see
shaky
that
first
game.
period, and so
I couldn't watch that game because I don't have cable. I just have
okay,
well, I have through my service provider, Tech Savvy. I have like 20. It's like a basic package for $20. I get about I don't know 30 channels, but most of them are just various feeds of CTV channels all across the country. It's like 20, 40 channels. No, it's like a dozen,
oh, you
and I've
got the
got
time
like
shifting thing.
all of the CTV. Yeah, all the CTV affiliates, like, and they're all showing the same thing at the same time for the most part. So it's like, guys, that's not really a choice. I mean,
Yeah,
come on, you know.
yeah, really.
And I've been trying to cancel it for the longest time because if I want to watch CBC, I have CBC Gem and I have Rabbit Ears, so I can get
Right.
that. You can't cancel it online. I have to call them to do it.
Yeah.
It was like my Globe and Mail. I had a subscription to the Globe and Mail. I got this great deal. It was like $9 for 6 months. I went, yeah, okay, I'll sign up for that. That's a good deal. What didn't notice in the super fine print is that after the 6 months period, it goes up to $29 a month. And I went,
Right.
whoa, 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 whoa. You have to call us to cancel. You can't cancel online. So I just switched my account from my credit card to a prepaid credit card and didn't put any money on it. And they kept trying to bill it for like 3 months and said, we're going to cancel. Yeah, go ahead. not a threat to me. I'm happy if you do. So they finally did. Same thing with
Mm.
my Torstar account. Every time they go to jack the price, I'm like, no, sorry. And don't worry, Christian, I am looking into an IPTV. It's just I have to call my service provider to cancel what I currently have so I can save that money. I found a $10 IPTV thing that'll get me all kinds of channels. So I have a few friends who have that too. So it's something I'm considering and looking into. But literally the only thing I watch on television is sports, live sporting events, CFL and NHL and NBA as well. And of course, the BBC, Deutsche World, but I get all of those online. So really, the only thing I need it for is sports because I have all the movie channels that I could ever want, right? I just want to get some sports, live sports entertainment. And I'm not talking about wrestling, okay? I'm not a wrestling fan. Hockey, give me NHL, give me CFL, give me NBA, and Major League Baseball. Actually, in summertime, I like to watch the odd Blue Jays game. Not every day. I'm not a fanatic, but I've been cheering for the Blue Jays since 1977. So
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So Winnipeg is up 2-0. Boom, boom. Montreal down 0-1. And then the Leafs are over the Senators 1-0. And Edmonton was also playing last night, but
oh yeah,
that's
what
what
was
I'm
the
going
score?
to
Because
look
that game
because
didn't
I
start
was
till like
already in
12. I went to
bed
bed.
when well, not already in
Yeah.
bed, but on the way to bed when it started. So I'm just taking a look at that. Oh, the Kings won 6-5. Darn. Uh,
Oh, okay.
uh,
Yeah, Don's telling me here through Twitter that Prime offers all those options too, and I have noticed that they do, but it's not cheap.
yeah.
Not cheap. Uh, like that, I can get the TSN feed for that's $29 a month for one channel. No, no.
Darn. Oh, and it was like tied too until like 1832, and then
Oh,
Dano scored with like 52 seconds left to make it 6-5. So that was a really
oh
close
wow.
game.
Well, that makes it for a
Yeah.
thriller.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it looks like we got a good. It looks like we got some good series all along. Except
And 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 Tim here saying, "I love the Sens, but won't be upset if they lose." And here, you know what? Here's this. I want them. I desperately want them to beat the Leafs. You know, the Battle of Ontario. The Leafs are 4-0. I want Ottawa to win this series. I really do. I want to see them advance to the second round and knock out the Leafs. But if they don't win this round, I'm not upset about it.
they
I don't
made
play
the
for the team,
playoffs.
you know, I have no money invested in it. They made the playoffs, and they walked in through the front door. Sure, it was a wild card, but they actually had more points than, team in the other,
Yeah,
um,
Calgary would have
division.
made it in this division.
Yes, the way it worked. Like, Ottawa should have been in 3rd place overall, or sorry, no, 6th place overall. But the way that it works out, they actually had to take a wild card position, even though they had more points
Hmm.
than Florida. Not Florida. Who was it? Not Florida. New Jersey. I don't. They had more points than the team in the other
Right.
division, who took the last playoff spot. It's just the way the things work out. So I mean, technically speaking, they had a
Yeah.
better record. So you know, I was happy to see them make the playoffs, do it commandingly, and hey, let's see what happens tonight. You know.
Exactly. Exactly. All right, kids and cubs. A little announcement, by the way. It would tomorrow we are going to have a guest. The gentleman.
Oh, okay. This is news to me.
Yes, sorry. The gentleman that I was talking to you about yesterday, who had done a good analysis of the comparative analysis of the NDP and Liberal platforms, had a conversation with him,
Oh
and I
yes.
asked him if he could check out the Green one as well. And it seems that the Conservative one will be out sometime today. It seems. So he will be coming on the show tomorrow, and we will be able to have a chat about that. So, yeah, it'll just be nice. I figured, instead of reading everything he's written into the record, why not just ask him
Mhm.
to come on and speak for himself?
Yeah, it makes things a
Yeah,
lot easier.
and
I
he's
think so. Yeah, we can get some actual insight
yeah.
into
So
it.
he's very excited by the opportunity. I mean, his name is Joss Morando. Like I said, he's a graduate of the Monk School of Public Policy, and then McMaster U grad, so and public policy and government relations consultant for Macmillan Vantage. So somebody who,
He knows
yeah,
what he's talking
exactly.
about. Hey, what do we love on this show?
Yes,
Expertise, experts in their
and
field.
from what I can tell, someone who may be younger than us as well. So
Oh,
it'll
okay.
be cool.
Oh.
Because I keep on forgetting how old I am. Sometimes it's like, oh yeah, we look. Oh no,
well,
wait a minute, I'm 50 now.
So I had a conversation on Friday with a couple of fellas after I had a chance to, Friday? Maybe it was Saturday. I don't know. I had a conversation with a couple of friends the other day, and one of the comments I made, I said, was I think because the voter turnout was so incredibly high in advanced polls, I said, I think what's happening is a lot of people are coming out to cast a ballot for Mark Carney. And again, in their head, they're casting a ballot for Mark Carney because unless you live in his riding, you can't cast a ballot for him because we elect a parliament, not a prime minister. That's an important civics lesson for those of you who were not aware. And I'm not speaking down to anybody. I'm just trying to reiterate, as I have several times on this program, that we don't elect a prime minister, we elect a parliament. So the conversation we had, I said to him, I said, what a lot of people I think are of the mindset right now is that they need an older white gentleman with global experience, with diplomacy and dealing with big business and big money accounts, if you will, to steady the ship. And he said, my buddy looked at me and he goes, Paul, he's 3 years older than you. He just turned 60. He's Gen X like you. He goes, I'm 67. I'm older than him. I go, he's like, you're saying 60's old? I said, no, not what I said. I said, younger people, in comparison to the opposition leader who is 45, at 60, he is an older white man with global experience taking care of some really big files. And people need that confidence in somebody who can handle these things during a crisis situation. We're in the middle of a trade war. It is a crisis. Do not kid yourselves. Mark Carney is the right man for the job at this time. Period. Pierre Poilièvre is not the right man for the job at any time, honestly. He has no qualifications other than being a member of parliament since, for 21 years now? Is he 45 or 43? I can't remember how old he is. Either way, what I'm getting at is we need somebody with a little bit more worldly experience who's dealt with kings, queens, presidents, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, on a global basis. 45? 45 years old. So yeah, Mark Carney is the right choice at this time for the country, for the long-term future of the country. And it's not, I think in this instance, for many, many people, and I did say this, I said, I think the choice they're making is less about the Liberal Party in this instance and more about the man in this case. Whereas people were tired of Justin Trudeau, the man, because of all the vitriol that's been thrown towards him over the last several years. They're actually making a choice about the man in this case. It's very strange. It's a very bizarre time to be alive. Who's kidding who? But I think, I think that's the spirit and the pulse of the nation is let's take the guy who's done stuff like this before. Sure, he's not a career politician and he's never worked in politics, but he's worked with politicians. He's worked with world leaders. He's worked with the heads of major corps. He knows what he's doing. He knows how to manage crises. It's all he's ever done. So I think that's the vibe that a lot of people are feeling right now. Let's make a choice for Canada's future in Canada's present.
All right.
So what's your take on that, sir? Do you think I'm far off the base on that, or?
No, I think it's a cogent
You're
position
frozen.
that. What, I'm frozen?
Oh no, it's just this with Restream. Restream's being finicky again.
Okay, sorry. No, I think it's a cogent position. It stands. It takes. It holds together. One can make a solid argument and case for it, like you just have. Yeah, I mean, like I said, it's not the only way to see it, but it is a way to see it that holds together and that is logical and is consistent. So I can absolutely see how a lot of people would see it that way. Absolutely. Yep. All right. Kits and
I think
Cubs.
I'm trying to post a comment here, but Restream is seriously delayed right now. I'm looking. It's not my processor. It's not our software. It's not our computers. It's the Restream is being an asshole right now, and it keeps disconnecting, trying to reconnect. It did this yesterday. It's doing it again today. There's very little I can do about it, unfortunately. Hopefully, it'll come back. Did it come back? I think it's. Are we back? It looks like we're back. Yeah, Restream froze up there for a minute. It's causing major issues right now, and I can't tell why. Getting all fuzzy and you're freezing. It's just and it's taking the delay with Restream right now is about 5 seconds, 5 to 7 seconds. So Mr. Beaver and I can't even talk to ourselves in real time, talk to each other in real time, because I click on a button to post something and it takes 5 seconds for it to post and then 5 seconds for it to come down. So yeah, it's major issues right now with the software, and I apologize. Beyond my control.
Okay. So given that there's that, how about we use the chat function on the inside to just let each other know when we're done talking, and that way we'll know, given we have the delay, and it won't sound as bad for everyone else. Okie dokie. All right. So, Kits and Cubs, like we do every morning, we're going to take a little look at the polling data. Interestingly enough, with the CBC poll tracker, finally, for those who were a little worried, there was a bit of uh, a break in the narrowing of the gap between the Liberals and the Conservatives, for those who were panicking with that. But it's still showing 194 Liberal, 122 Conservative there. With 21 Bloc Québécois and 5 New Democrats, it seems that Yves-François Blanchet might have done himself some good in those debates after all, somehow. I just don't know how, but somehow. And it doesn't take a lot. A 5% swing in the province of Quebec could result in a certain number of seats flipping with all the sort of three-way races and that type of stuff there. So over the coming days, Quebec might be the place where there is the actual most movement based on current trends, because the Bloc Québécois was pretty solidly under 20 for a good period of time in the campaign, and right now they're registering 21. So yeah, we'll see what goes on there, and of course, there could always be someone south of us who decides to open their yap and say something, which might change some things at the last minute. But given that today is the last day to vote by special ballot, anybody who hasn't voted today will still have the next 5 or 6 days to be influenced. Whereas, of course, anybody who's already voted, what's going to happen over the next few days, your votes are locked in, right? So that some people are speculating that maybe the reason Pierre Poilièvre waited to release the platform until after all this first wave of voting could take place is because maybe there's something in that policy platform that he didn't want Conservatives to see, wanted to lock in those votes before he put it out. Like maybe his math not mathing or something. Maybe. So, but yeah, it's not particularly great here with regard to the policy platform for the Conservatives. But polling wise, it seems to be holding up pretty well for them. With the 338, similar to everything that's been out before, just about a 5% split between the two. But again, showing Ontario, Quebec, and showing Ontario and Quebec and Manitoba a little more solidly on the Liberal side, but BC starting to flip towards Conservatives. So Conservatives are gaining a couple more seats in British Columbia, and the NDP might be doing a little bit better there too. So in the case of 338, we've seen not so much a narrowing of the not a cessation of the narrowing, but at least on this one, the conservative increase that has been very, very slow, very minuscule, but a little bit notable. That's been interrupted for the first time in about, I'd say, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 days, a 7-day cycle in there. But again, seat count showing Liberals 184, Conservatives 126, the Bloc rising up to 23 there, even the NDP going up 1 seat to 9 in that. So it's all at the margins, right? There are some people that are looking at Main Street. Main Street itself is indicating that the Liberals have slipped back into minority territory, but they're the only one of the four that are showing that at the moment. And except the acceleration of the narrowing in all the other polling aggregators is nowhere near as fast. So we'll have to see what it means if people are feeling safe um, to vote for some of the smaller parties now that they're pretty sure that the Liberals are going to win. Yves-François Blanchet in Quebec might have had something to do with that because on Sunday it was his turn to go on Tout le monde en parle, and he basically declared on the show that Carney was going to win. So that might have been a strategic move on his part to say, well, Carney's going to win, guys. So, you don't have to all give your votes to him. You can send some our way now. Enough of you are going to do the job. So it might be a reverse sort of a Jedi mind trick on the part of Blanchet there. But we'll see. And Jagmeet Singh, objectively, a campaign that was very lackluster over the course of the last week or so with the debate performances and whatnot, has taken on a bit of a new life. Seems to be getting a little bit more attention. He seems to be able to motivate some of the vote. It looks like they're doing the same thing as the Ontario NDP did, is focusing on certain key ridings and throwing everything at it to try and at least maintain party status. There is some indication in the polling that they are getting some response to that. But everything that is happening is still well within the margin of errors, except for Main Street. So, and throughout this entire campaign, there's always been an outlier somewhere, right? It was Frank Graves and Ecos at the beginning, and then Abacus for a while. That was the only one showing that the Conservatives had a lead. And now it's Main Street being the only one showing that Liberals going into minority territory rather than majority territory. But again, there would have to be, from what the polling seems to be indicating, Ontario seems to be very, very, very solidly Liberal, and there would have to be a major, major, major swing in Ontario for everything to fall apart. So, majority, minority, maybe that could be in play somehow. But whether or not the Liberals are going to form government at the current moment with current trends, there doesn't seem to be anything out there that would indicate something that would bring a 10 to 11 point swing in Ontario alone.
Well, this comment here from that Dave guy says, personally, I'm feeling a Liberal minority with a Quebec kingmaker. I do know who that kingmaker is in Quebec. And yeah, they definitely would absolutely, positively much prefer to have Mark Carney as prime minister than Pierre Poilièvre because...
Oh, yeah. Oh, God, yes.
You know who the kingmaker is I'm talking about in Montreal, right?
Mm-hmm.
The company, the name of the corp. I'm actually invested with them because their stocks always go up. Always go up. They are the kingmaker. Literally, they've been known as that for decades. If they never publicly endorse, they just seem to always find the person they want to be prime minister and end up being prime minister. So we'll just leave it at that.
Yeah.
It's a very powerful corporation in Montreal.
Ooh,
Very powerful
subtle
corporation in Montreal.
Subtle. Real subtle.
I need more coffee. I'll be right back.
Kit Tim. Oh, thank you. I think the stream is leveling out. Appreciate the feedback there. Nice to see that. Okay, Kits, you are very active here. See, let's do the magic mirror thing before we get into the I see Elaine and Kit, Cat W, Kit, Janet S. Good morning. Janet S., that seems to be a new name for me here on the chat. So if we've never said hello, welcome to the Beaver Lodge. Pull up a log, stay a while. Let's see. Kit Argos Akers, hello, Mr. Jim, my friend. How are you, dear one? Kit Lori S. Hey, nice. Let's see, what else? Linda M. Hello, dear one. Nice to see you. Good morning. Kit Mohan, hello, and family. Hope Mateo's feeling better. By the way, I saw that he got into the chocolate. Kit Environmental Coffee House. Kit Nona Carol, hello. Kit Jen, hello, lovely one. Nice to see you this morning. Thank you for joining us. All right. Do we have anybody else in here sliding in at the last minute to get hello? Kit Toronto Dan, Kit Tim, hello. Anybody else? Kit Christian. Hey, hello. Salut mon frère. Comment ça va? Kit Breadback. That's a new name for us. Hello. Good morning. Hope you're doing well. Glad to see you here. Kit Dawn as well. Okay. Good morning. Who else do we have? Oh, a new one. Chris Sturwald. Edward Tonian here. It was devastating last night. Yeah. Can imagine. Don't worry. There's more games. Let's see, who else do we have here in the chat? A lot of people. Text Peggy. Yeah, I noticed that yesterday. Hello. Nice to see you. Didn't have a chance to say hello yesterday, but nice to see you. That's a new name for me as well in the chat here. And what else? Text Peggy. At 58, I was in diapers when the Leafs won the cup. And mark my words, I'll be in diapers when they win the cup again. Maybe.
That's good.
50 Beaver points.
That's a good one.
Kit Hyper T 007. Good morning to you. That Dave guy. Hello. That's a new name for us too. Lots of new names on the chat. So wonderful. Thank you so much. Oh, so glad to see. Kit Sandy Domingos Shipley. Hello. That's another new name. Wow.
I
Love
gotta
it. Kit
show.
playing with 3D. Kit
Gotta show
Kimberly
you
Tower.
a couple of things here that. So, do you know who Harman Bangu is? He is
Nope.
MLA for Langley Abbotsford, transportation critic, Conservative Caucus for British Columbia. So yesterday, I guess was it yesterday? Let's see, no, it was Sunday. It was Sunday, the 19th. When was the 19th? Saturday was the 19th, correct? Yes, the Saturday. He made a commentary about a post on Twitter, and I will show you his commentary. This is like pearl clutching. What? That was weird. It was not supposed to happen that way. What is going on here? I don't know what's going on here. There we go. That was weird. Sorry about that. So this is a commentary from Harman Bangu. He says, this photo says everything about the state of liberal politics in Canada. A grown man emboldened by his political tribe, flipping off anyone who dares to disagree. No debate, no dialogue, just vulgarity and disdain. This is what happens when arrogance replaces accountability, when a party believes power is a birthright, not a responsibility. We're long past the point of polite disagreement. Canada needs course correction. It starts by rejecting this kind of entitled rot at the ballot box. Pierre Poilièvre is the only one with the courage to clean it up. Okay, that's hilarious. I'm not going to show you the photo. It's a boomer gentleman flipping off somebody with the camera. Now, this person with the camera was saying some pretty rude and vulgar things. But this from our friend Dean. Hey, Harman, maybe you missed 4 years of this. The fact that the old fella triggers you makes sense, though. The party of incels doesn't have thick skin. What's it like to know deep down that you are nothing without your victim status? It'd be interesting to hear the answer. And I mean, this is a clear example of this. And then if we go back to our friend Guy Felicella, it says, settle down, Harman. Attacks at Liberal leader Mark Carney's family and make political references to Epstein Island. I'm not going to run the video. This was on Friday, I guess. Meanwhile, in the distance, likely beyond earshot, supporters cheer Carney on. I'm not going to show you the video because it's really, really troublesome. What is going on with Restream is all over the map today. I don't. What is going on here? This whole thing has gone haywire on me. So yeah, the pearl clutch. the brave conservatives, the facts don't care about your feelings crew are always clutching pearls when somebody says something that is so incredibly upsetting to them, and yet we've listened to them for years say some
But remember,
incredibly mean, and
remember,
vulgar things. Pardon?
you got to remember, it's fuck your feelings.
Yes,
My
that's right.
feelings, you got to
Yes.
micromanage.
Yes. It's just, I'm like, come on, man. You just,
Right.
you know, okay, I've got the clip queued up here, and it looks like everything is stabilized, sir.
All right.
So
Thank you so
I was
much.
just trying to kill time and stabilize things in the background. Again, it's beyond my control of what Restream can do, but I can try and smooth it out as much as possible. And it looks like we're back on track now. So, sir, if you want to go ahead and set this up, I'll be happy to show it to everybody.
All right. Before we do that, just finish saying hello to the kids who joined us.
Oh, yes, please.
Kit Bell C, Kit Tom Trask. I like Bell C. It's sort of like I keep on thinking we have a Spice Girl.
Oh, that took me a minute.
Sporty Spice.
Yeah.
Kit Tom Trask over here. Jason LA, hey, good morning. Nice to see you. Ah, nice. If you remember, Jason is the gentleman that posted that lovely thing in the chat that he's learned more about civics from watching our show than he did at school. So thank you so much. It's always nice to see you in the chat. Kit AECH with us as well. Kit Kimberly Tower, good morning to you. And I think now I might have gotten everyone. Kit Uncover, hello. Anybody else? Oh no, Frank, Kit Wishful, Kit Ibaj coming in at the last minute for hello. Kit Daedalus, Kit Katie Canuck, that's a new name for us as well. Kit Norm from 1957. My God. Wow. Jonathan B, that's another new name for us. That's a lot of people. I don't think my good mornings have ever taken that long before. We're okay, so we're growing. Thanks.
So hey, that Dave guy who's watching us on the Twitter, he says he's 3 months older than Carney. You can join us, Dave, if you get an opportunity right on the YouTube. So you can join in the chat with all the other folks that are live in the YouTube stream, youtube.com/@truenortheagerbeaver and you can find the live feed there on the screen if you want to join us in the chat. I'll display your comments, but unfortunately, a lot of the folks that are back and forth in the chat won't be able to see them unless I display them because you're on a separate platform. But anyway, if you want to join us on YouTube, that'd be wonderful.
All right. And Kit Saucy reminds us that it is Earth Day today. So everybody...
That's right. It is Earth Day
find
today.
your mama.
And you know who started Earth Day? You know when the first Earth Day was and who started it?
Not off the top of my head, no.
Okay, so a lot of people thought it occurred in the 90s. No, it resurged in the 90s. But the first Earth Day was it was either 70 or 71, and it was by Richard Nixon, the same guy who started the Environmental Protection Agency.
Conservative.
Yes, a very staunch conservative.
When we used to call it environmental conservation, so conservatives were into it.
Yes. So a lot of people forget about that. And I'm like, no, it's important to highlight good things that conservatives have done because they have done some good things. I'm like, this is why people fail to understand when I say I'm not a liberal. I'm a concerned citizen, centrist, left-leaning, believe in progressive policy. It was 1970. Thank you, Environmental Coffee House. I wasn't sure if it was 70 or 70. And then who was the greenest prime minister we had up until, actually
Trudeau.
still might even be.
Up until Trudeau.
Up until Trudeau, it was Brian Mulroney.
Yep, Mulroney, yep.
And who did more to relieve African debt than any other person in the history of the world? George W. Bush.
Yep. PEPFAR.
I mean,
PEPFAR to reduce the scourge, the devastation of HIV and AIDS and malaria and all that types. That was
George
Bush.
W. Yep.
That's the best of U.S. foreign aid right there. Total success story.
USAID, which is now dead. Thank you very much.
Yep, indeed. All right, on to the show, kids and cubs. Sorry, it took a little while to get to the meat of it, but don't worry, we'll get there. And just a little check at the markets like we do every morning. Out in Asia Pacific, a mixed day, but no big swings. Everything usually within 1%, except for Taiwan, that was down by 1.64. It seems like it's a down day in Europe again. Again, no big swings, nothing bigger than 1.25. In the Americas, though, we did have a bigger swing yesterday than the opening um, data or the pre-market data would let us believe. A lot of markets down 2.5, close to 2.5%, and more. So yeah, all around the 2.5%. So today, the openings, the implied opens are better today, or just slightly to the positive, left fewer than 1%, about 0.75%. But yeah, it seems that there was more running of the mouth south of us, and caused some markets
Go
to swing.
figure. Go figure. What a surprise. Shock. I'm shocked. Shocked, I
All
tell
right,
you.
shocked,
Mm,
shocked.
That,
Yes,
that was my
President Motormouth
Casablanca.
said something that
My,
made the market swing.
that was my Casablanca.
Ah,
You
yes.
know, gambling in this
Yep.
establishment. Shocked. Shocked, I tell you. Sir, your winnings for tonight. Thank you very much.
Yes. All
If
right.
you've ever
So,
never seen Casablanca, you should. Okay, yes. Go ahead,
absolutely.
sir.
Yes, you must see Casablanca. It's a great movie, especially if you have a chance to see it at the cinema. Like you go to the
Mm.
repertoire theater to go see it, to take advantage of it, like with popcorn and everything. It's a big screen movie. All right, kids and cubs. Yesterday we had of platforms and plastics, and today we have of platforms and Poilièvre platitudes, because we had a situation yesterday where, well, not yesterday, but Jagmeet Singh released the NDP platform on the same day as Mark Carney. So these are not two separate day events, but the same day events that happened. We're just presenting them to you on separate days. Then we had yesterday happen. No, sorry, because these were presented on the 20. Can't remember if these were dropped on the 19th or the 20th.
19th.
On the 19th. So we had the 20th and we had the 21st go by. And on the 19th and 20th, we still didn't know when the conservative platform was coming out. The best we could get was soon. Well, it turns out that yesterday, Mr. Poilièvre announced that it would be coming out today. I am not sure if that was the plan all along, if it was pressure, if they were planning to try to not get one out. Now they have to. But the one thing I do know is that the math on this thing cannot possibly math.
Mm.
It just can't, right? Because, as we told you, the foreign aid budget that he said he was going to cut and the CBC budget that he said he was going to cut, right? That's about $16 billion. And that's if he cuts all foreign aid. Well, he so kind of reversed himself, that said that no, he wasn't going to cut foreign aid to Ukraine. Well, that's the biggest piece of the budget by far. And then there's a portion of it that's already going to build that base in Iqaluit that he plans to do without an Indigenous consultation, it appears. So add that plus all the legal fees. So, that's not going to cover everything, right? And then the $1 billion he plans to save from the CBC must be all from salaries, because it's not going to be from infrastructure, because he's got to keep all of those operating if he's going to keep Radio Canada going from coast to coast to coast. And then, well, it seemed very clear that he was campaigning for the last 2 years on making sure that dental care and pharmacare at least don't continue. But he reversed on that. And then the counter tariff money pre-election, he had pledged that for a tax cut, and his tax cut, unlike Mark Carney's, which was more prudent, 1% starting now. Well, starting the next, fiscal budget, because you got to pass it. Versus 1.125% now, and then a committed increase to 2.25, which will take $14 billion a year out of the budget. And then sometime along the way during the campaign, he promised, oh, yes, he would help industries and workers targeted by tariffs, but he doesn't have the counter tariff money to do that because he already spent that on the generalized tax cut, so there's more money for that. And then yesterday he had people out there complaining about how, oh, the Carney government wasn't doing enough for young people when they're the ones that raise the basic personal exemption amount on taxes for seniors, which is more money out.
Yeah.
And then everything Carney is doing, or if Carney is like, conservatives are accusing the liberals of stealing from them. And the liberals have taken some things from the conservative platform. Absolutely. It's just like the conservatives have taken some stuff from the liberal platform and the liberal campaign and whatnot. Sometimes in a campaign, you do that. So everybody knew that Poilièvre was going to come out with a middle class tax cut at some point. So Carney came out with one. It's the bid to get into the game. You neutralize the opponent on that subject. But Poilièvre has always been doing a little more. So the tax cut, there was a little more. Carney's GST thing on the houses is for 1 million. Well, Pierre is for 1.3 million. Right? Carney announced that he was going to build 500,000 houses a year. So that would be 2 million houses. Well, Pierre made an announcement that would be a little more. But interesting, when you listen to him talk about how it is he's going to get it done, it's a lot of it is the same things that Mark Carney said that a couple of weeks ago Pierre mocked. Plus, Pierre is promising to get into wars with all the municipalities if they don't do things his way. But he's promising he can get more houses built than even Carney's promised now, without having a whole prefab modular industry.
Right, that that he made fun of in the past, and now he's promoting.
So we're talking about a guy for whom, during the course of this campaign, 1,700 people was actually 15,000 people.
Mm-hmm.
For whom 3,472 houses built was actually 200,000. Only 6 of them affordable, all of them in Quebec. Right? So we're talking about a person who likes to have fun with numbers and fun with words, who's reversed himself on things that he seemed to be promising he would cut for the last 2 or 3 years, and claiming that he can make it all math, because remember, he's also going to meet our NATO spending commitments too. The math doesn't math. The math doesn't math.
Let's
the
go back
conservatives
to
anymore.
what was it? We discussed it yesterday. Was it November or December 2023 when Melissa Landsman was on Vashi Capellos? Is that Power in Politics? Is that name of Vashi?
No, it was she was on the Sunday show on that one, so it was CTV's
yes.
Question Period.
Thank you. Saying we'll show you our platform once the election's called. Okay, we have 6 days left, and we still haven't seen the platform. It's because they're writing and erasing and creating things as we speak. What did Carney say? Okay, let's put that in.
Yeah.
Look,
That's literally what they're doing. They're making it up on the fly, because the second that they got cornered, and Pierre had to say, "I will keep dental care and pharmacare." Now,
how we won't expand it.
That was but how we will keep it too, eh? Even childcare, right? You can keep the money in childcare and then just turn around and distribute it again as a boutique tax credit again, and just kill the programs.
We'll give you $160 a year. It's $1,500 a month for childcare. What's $160 a year going to do?
You got to be able to front that 15,000 too.
Yeah.
Before you get it, right?
That's funny, because
that's what a Harper boutique tax cut is. It's like, once you put your kids in the sports and you pay all of it, and you're able to wait a year, then you'll get some money back.
Yes,
to deal with
because
the
I can
affordability
afford to
crisis
front
now.
that.
Yeah.
It's like some of the insurance companies health insurance programs I've had through different corporations and companies I've worked for in the past. I tried to get one that had, it's like, can we change this to direct billing for dental care? Well, no. You just go ahead and pay the $2,000 up front, and we'll reimburse you. Yeah, it's going to take months to get that money back, and I need the money now. I need direct billing to the insurance company. So if your health insurance plan, your dental coverage plan through your employer insists that you pay it up front and they reimburse you and they don't do direct billing, you're getting screwed. You're getting screwed. It's the same as my argument when companies will send you out of town and you check into the hotel and the hotel insists you give them a $400 or $500 deposit on your credit card. And my response is, no, I'll turn around and leave. I'll go home right now. I don't give a damn. I'm not fronting costs for the company. I have to pay for my fuel and my food on my credit card for the next 2 weeks while I'm out of town. I need that extra $500.
Yep.
And why should I have to pay for it? This is another example of the wealthy punching down on the rest of us.
Yep. So, we'll see what Pierre has in store for us with his platform, but I have a feeling that the costing is going to be an issue because Pierre is already trying to make us believe that everybody's been hearing him making his announcements and could keep a tally. They say, your announcements have come up to about $440 billion in new spending. And you said $1 will be cut for every $1 in new spending. So that means you need to find $140 billion in stuff you're cutting over the next number of years. He's going, no, that's not true. Their numbers are wrong. It's like, I'm sorry, buddy, but maybe. But if you're going to ask me to look at a guy that has been at the head of the Bank of Canada and the Bank of England and is a banker and respected around the world's assessment of what you promised so far, and your brilliant and well-researched and thought out and extremely well-developed counter rebuttal of his numbers are wrong, I'm probably going to believe the banker, especially after 20 years in Parliament. You've never actually been trusted with an economic portfolio of any kind and have no personal financial background of any kind. And if all you could say is, nuh-uh, he's wrong, and that's your counter argument,
cut it, man.
I'm going to tend to believe the other guy a smidge more. Right? So while all this is going on, we have Mr. Jagmeet Singh, who tables his costed platform. Didn't get a lot of attention. And normally with the NDP, as soon as they put it out, there's people jumping all over it and saying, the costing is terrible, the costing's terrible. I've heard nothing of that this time. Now, is that because the costing is not terrible? Or is that because compared to what everybody else is, the NDP seems to be adding the least amount to the debt based on their costing? Or is that because people are just finding them so far behind and irrelevant that it's not even worth their time to complain that the costing is? I don't know.
I think that might
typical
be
thing that happens has not happened.
I think that might be part of it, though, for sure.
Could be.
That they're so far behind, whatever.
Yeah.
I think that's the attitude from a lot of people right now,
Yeah,
that they don't even consider them.
There's no point in getting lighting your hair on fire about it. Because, I mean, even the Conservatives didn't do, oh my God, if you go with the NDP, they're going to spend us into oblivion. We'll be in hell. And that typical thing, right? That the Conservatives always do. Not a peep. They're saving that for Mr. Carney this time around. But Mr. Singh does have some very important things to say and to add to the mix. So let's look at what he has. He's at so this is the one where he's making the big pitch, talking about what's in the platform, and then he'll be asked a couple of questions, of course.
Okay.
I met a woman in Burnaby, a single mom, working 2 jobs, doing everything she can to give her son the life he deserves. Her boy has asthma. And she told me on some weeks, when she's at the drugstore, she stares down at his prescription and has to choose between picking it up or paying the rent. She knows what that means. She knows the risk, and still she's forced to make that call. I could hear the agony in her voice, the guilt twisting in the pit of her stomach like a knot. But that guilt doesn't belong to her, because I know she's doing everything right. She's holding up her end. It's the system that's failing her. That's not bad luck. It's the outcome of decisions made by people in power, decisions that put CEOs and billionaires first. While you're working harder than ever just to are watching their fortunes grow by hundreds of millions of dollars a day. At the same time, nearly 4 million people across this country can't afford the basics. This didn't happen by accident. It's what happens when governments have the power to act and choose not to. Liberals and conservatives put the profits of the powerful ahead of the people who make this country work. They choose, and they've chosen, tax breaks over family doctors, corporate landlords over affordable homes. These aren't just bad choices, they're wrong. They don't reflect the Canada we believe in. They don't reflect the values we share. And now, with Donald Trump's trade war, those same politicians want working people to pay the price again. They say we can't afford to invest in Canadians. But we know the truth. The money is there. It's just going to the wrong people. And all the while, the things that define us as Canadians, our healthcare, our public services, our belief in looking out for each other, are being chipped away. We won't protect Canada by copying the United States. We win by standing up, by standing together to protect what makes Canada, Canada. And that's why today I'm proud to share our campaign commitments. It's clear, it's bold, and it's focused on the people who build this country. And it starts with healthcare. We'll guarantee access to a family doctor or primary care team by 2030. We'll hire more healthcare workers, and some say it can't be done, that there's no way to get everyone a family doctor, but we know that's not true. We'll create residencies for qualified, internationally trained doctors already living in Canada, so they can get to help, working to help people instead of waiting on the sidelines. We'll stop the slow creep of for-profit care. We'll launch universal pharmacare, starting with free diabetes medication and birth control, and expanding to cover essential medicines by year's end. Because no one should skip medicine to pay rent. No parent, like the mom I met in Burnaby, should ever have to look at her child's prescription and wonder if keeping a roof overhead means leaving the pharmacy empty-handed. That choice should never exist in a country like Canada. And your mental health, it matters just as much. We'll make mental health care part of public health care. No more waiting, no more choosing between your well-being and your bank account.
All right.
Well, you know, I'm on board with that.
Mm-hmm.
What is here?
What?
I don't know what is going on with Restream. It's all over the map today. It's just not cooperating.
Don't worry, we're doing okay. We're doing okay. So
Yeah, I know. It's just it's the software's being strange, and it
So
messes me up.
we have the entire setup. Again, Jagmeet Singh likes to go to the story, particularly of a single mother. It's more than once that we've shown
In
this
his writing.
on his campaign. Because last time he was talking about Brienne, right? Brianna, who we've had as a
Mhm.
guest, and now he's talking about somebody else. So, but he likes to go to that story and, somebody start with relating, right? Working hard, doing the best by her kids. It's not her fault. It's all true. But he likes to go to that. He appeals to
Sentimentality.
sentimentality, right? So it's a rhetorical device, as legitimate as everyone, but he's doing the appeal
Mhm.
to emotion, is what it's called. So he goes there, he opens with that, does the whole setup.
It's
Yeah.
effective.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. And sets it up, right? So puts you in the context, right? Lets you know who he's talking about, who he's fighting for, makes it very clear. His message is very, very clear, right? You know who his target audience is, you know who he's talking about, you know what his issues are. On that, you can't fault him whatsoever, right? And then,
Mhm.
of course, for the NDP, as they've said from the beginning of the campaign, and as you saw with the debates and all that, they're trying to make healthcare the center plank of their platform, right? What's going to happen to health? What's going to happen to health in these times? I guess system's already not performing as it should. What's going to happen now? You need to be worried about that because presidents come and go, but the healthcare is every day. That's his frame.
Well, and that's important to remember that, because let's face it, if you're not healthy enough to be able to get up and go to work, how are you going to be able to afford the medications
Exactly.
you need?
So, and it's true, right? But what Jagmeet Singh is fighting against right now is the problem of the urgency of now, right? They see the Donald Trump threat. A lot of Canadians are seeing the Donald Trump threat right here. And while there's everything
Yes.
else, we need to do with this. So let's deal with this, and then we can deal with all the other stuff. And there are some people that are trying to make the case that yes, while that is there, all these other things matter because you can't abandon all these other things to focus everything on that. Somebody's got to be thinking about the other stuff. So Jagmeet Singh is very much of the thing, right? So they're going to be so busy with trying to keep the markets working and all that kind of stuff, they're going to forget about you. So you need us.
His comment on mental
Yes.
health care. Now you know
Yes,
how I feel
I'm
about that,
100%
obviously. But
correct on that.
yeah, and I agree with him. Now we need to qualify that statement though, because mental health care is covered under the public purse, but it doesn't. It's not. There's
no.
not enough. There's not enough resources
And it's
there.
only when you're in the most extreme need now, right?
Correct. Number one, and number two, they will refer you to a psychiatrist when maybe what you need is a psychologist and a psychiatrist. Uh, things that do need to. mm, There goes Mike. Something going on with Restream again. I don't know what is happening. It just keeps crapping out. Sorry about that. It's beyond my control when it does that. So we're back now. I think it dropped off for a second or two there. So one of the things he did say, as I was trying to talk about, I don't know where we got cut off, is that he's going to beef up mental health care, which I completely agree with. Because although it does fall under the public, our public system, our universal healthcare system, it's again, like you said, it's only under the most extreme circumstances. Whereas if I need help right now, I have to go to ER. And if you're sitting there struggling, and I mean struggling, look, when you're in a mental health care crisis, it's not treated the same way as a cardiac event, but it should be. Because the results, if left untreated, are the same as a cardiac event if left untreated.
Yeah. You can't mess with that. And that is one of the other reasons that we were very, very supportive of the move for dental care as well, because it's not just about your teeth. There are so many illnesses and diseases that start in the mouth that can be so much more severe. And you want to handle them really early so it doesn't get there. Because
Heart disease.
when it does, It's like it costs you so much more to the healthcare system, but if someone becomes disabled as a result of it, it costs you even more. And if someone just even if you forget health, just lost productivity while you're out of the system, or if
Mhm.
you have it devolves
It
into
costs
something
everybody
worse,
more money,
right?
right?
It's always best to handle things as quickly as possible. Again, as we keep on saying, it always costs less in the long run to do the right thing the right way the first time.
It's death enters through the gums. An outward sign of heart disease is your teeth. I know a few people who have.
Yep, indeed. And I,
And I don't know how to bring it up to them. Like, honestly, Gus with them, it's like, you need to go talk to your doctor.
yep.
How do you tell
See,
somebody that when you look at them and you can see that the outward signs of heart disease are there? And yeah, it's difficult. Oh, what happened, sir? You lose your camera?
no,
9
no, I
days
didn't lose
until
the
I can
camera.
apply for the dental program.
Just the
Oh,
light thing is happening again.
oh, again, yeah. I see that.
Vanishing.
Yeah,
Yes. Um,
it's one of these weird things. It's just that it's the time of the
yes.
year too,
Yeah,
right?
where the sun is in the sky.
Because
There's a
the
little,
sun
yeah,
is a little higher in the yeah.
exactly.
It's a little yeah.
So,
So
let,
higher or lower, whatever. Yeah. So dental care can go all the way to saving us money on the overall public health care fund, and it saves lives, it saves productivity, it saves times. Remember, we still don't have a sick leave program. We still don't have it. We're supposed to have one in Ontario. We don't have one. We have 3 days if your employer is generous. The province of Ontario had a 10-day under the Wynne government. You remember that? It was and they got rid of doctor's notes. You could take 10 days off and it would not affect your employment. It would not affect your employment ratio. Now, you weren't paid for those 10 days. You were paid for 3. So out of 7 of them, you were not getting paid. Well, most people can't afford to do that. Most working people just can't simply. You know why people go into work sick? It's because they have to. People go to work sick all the time because they have no choice. They have to because they can't afford to take 4 or 5 days off in a row because they live paycheck to paycheck, because our incomes have not grown in relatively to productivity or cost of living or inflation. There's no indexation of our income. But members of parliament, when they get their fully indexed pension, and federal government employees get the fully indexed pension, and I fully support that, we should all have a fully indexed pension so that when we have to leave the workforce, we know that we are going to be okay.
all right. Yep.
Good to go, sir?
So let's go
All
to the
yours.
next section, Mr. Grizzly, where Jagmeet Singh is going to talk about a couple of things in all a little bit, but affordability and basically EI and housing and groceries and sort of all in one package.
Because no matter what you're up against, your health, your rent, or the cost of feeding your family, you deserve a government that's there for you. That's why we'll build 3 million homes that you can afford. We'll corporate landlords from treating housing like a stock portfolio. Homes are for people, not hedge funds. We'll help first-time homebuyers. We'll support Indigenous-led housing. We'll take public land and put it to public use. We're going after the cost of living and the profiteers behind it. That means a price cap on grocery essentials, GST off your home heating, diapers, and the internet, retrofits to cut your bills by thousands of dollars. And real fixes to employment insurance. So if you lose your job, you don't lose everything. We're ready to act starting on day one.
All right. So again, lots of measures all put in together. You see where he's going. Like he's got a clear narrative. Absolutely. Now to that, this is where the part where he starts to throw in the narrative about weaves in the narrative about people like you, quote
Mhm.
unquote,
Mhm.
potentially being forgotten.
Yes.
So if we continue on, Mr. Grizzly,
Sure. Just a second. I'll bring it back up here. That
unless you've
having
got something to add about that section, of course.
not what he's saying definitely resonates with a lot of people, myself included. Just let's just we'll just keep rolling for a moment or two here, eh?
Okay.
Because very soon after this election, there will be a federal budget. And you need new Democrats there to make sure it delivers for working and middle-class people. Because when we're not there to remind them, the Liberals have a habit of forgetting about people, and we won't let them forget about the people. So here's what we'll fight to deliver in the first year. Real steps towards a family doctor for every Canadian. Universal pharmacare, national rent control, grocery price caps, a real fix to EI, and tax relief for working people. Paid for by ending handouts to oil and gas CEOs, by bringing in a wealth tax on fortunes over $10 million, by putting a surtax on corporate profits over $500 million, and by cracking down on tax havens and loopholes.
So, lots of energy, lots of passion. And
Mhm.
here's the thing, this is passion I expect from Pierre when he's selling his stuff, but he's showing up at the podium all the time and his heart doesn't seem to be in it really when he's making these announcements. And this is a little bit of the fire that I would like to see in Carney when he's making some announcements and stuff like that. Well, although I do get that it's sort of uh, we're all in the boardroom with him type of delivery is also particularly effective. It shouldn't be in normal times, but these are not normal times.
No, they are not.
So, in this case, like I said, so this is the thing I do like about Jagmeet is I am convinced that he is all in. And it's not to say that I'm not convinced that the other two are all in. But again, right? As much as it's just a different vibe because Mr. Carney, everything is relative to each other. So because Mr. Carney is so staid and poised and sort of even keel, because when he turns around and
Mhm.
says, the Americans are going to do it to themselves and we're going to leapfrog them, and gives that little smile, like this, and and says it with more firmness and more conviction, like this, but still that quiet confidence. You see the difference in the level, and the level for that speech within that context is a bigger jump, right? And it's clear, and you know that you can do it. But I guess, and I still feel inspired, 'cause but it's not it's the different type of inspiration, right? It's the, "I believe in us, and we can do it. And God damn it, we're allowed to be ambitious. So let's go get ours. Right? That's more Mark Carney, right? Like this very, whereas Jagmeet Singh is like, we need to fight. And we're gonna get this. And there's like, if I could get a little bit of a blend, right? It's like they're going to do this. They're going to mess themselves up, and we are going to leapfrog them because Canada, we can do this, right? If I could get just that little, if I could just blend them a little bit, it would be like perfect. But they're both doing their own thing in their own way, and it's extremely effective. But this is again, Jagmeet Singh really goes to the appeal to emotion and passion and whatnot in the fire. So again, two different deliveries. They both have their pluses and their minuses, and they're both effective in their own way. Because, but when you can take a little bit from column A and column B and put them together, when you can take the passion while bringing someone into the boardroom with you, that would be if what Carney is already doing is a home run, it would be grand slam. Like it's just that little extra bit. That's the one thing I do love about Jagmeet. It's like I have no doubt he is all in. No doubt. All right. Do you have anything on that, Mr. Wisley?
I just wanted to point out something that I thought, is a complete example of hypocrisy, ignorance, trying to go to the lowest common denominator. We had Pierre Poilièvre, when we discussed it yesterday, talking about how they're going to lift the ban on single-use plastics and plastic straws and plastic bags, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And he did that just a couple of days prior to Earth Day.
Oh, yes.
Like, come on, man. You refuse to live in reality. I mean, what else can you say about that? You just, like, who's advising him of policy? 2 days before Earth Day, you tell us that you're going to allow oil companies to continue to manufacture products we don't necessarily need, and we have alternative sources to use because it's convenient. For decades, many decades before the invention of plastics and nylon, we used paper bags for bread. We used paper bags for groceries. We had wax-coated paper straws. I remember growing up with wax-coated paper straws in some places. Why did they coat them in wax? Well, simple. They didn't disintegrate. And the wax was not unhealthy. It was not paraffin. It was beeswax. Were they expensive? Yes. That's why they're just paper today, because folks are looking to maximize their profit margin. If I can get another 1/4 percentage point in this, that's how it works. But I just find it incredibly ironic that 2 days before Earth Day, he pulls that stunt.
All right. So let's continue with Mr. Singh, Susie. He's now, I think, if I had this properly noted, going to sort of indicate to Canadians why it is the NDP can be trusted to do this, given their track record.
Okay, I will continue on this, but I have to jump now, actually. So
okay.
I can put this up on the screen, but I do have to take off because I have to get a couple of things taken care of here. So I will bid you adieu. Thanks for coming out, everybody. We do love and appreciate each and every one of you. Carlo, thank you very much, sir. I appreciate what you did for me very much. It helps. So thanks for coming out, everybody. I will see you soon. I apologize that I was incapable of doing an ASMR last night. I intend to do one this evening. So if you want to join me at 9 p.m. in my ASMR YouTube channel, I will be there. I will be talking because I'm feeling much, much, much better today than I did over the last few days. So I'll see you later. You take care.
All right. Bye, my friend.
See you.
All right, kids and cubs. All right. That's Mr. Grizzly's feed. That's up there.
Because
so
no
he's gonna have
nurse,
to take it down.
no teacher, no trade
Move forward.
person should pay more than a billionaire flipping
All right. There we go. And I'll be able to put it up there myself here. All right. Transition there. That we didn't do that one very well. But that's okay. That's okay. All right. So, as I mentioned, we're at the space here where Mr. Singh is going to uh, let people know about basically the NDP track record and therefore why it is that they can be trusted to get this done for Canadians. All right. Let me move the box. The box will not move. Why will the box not move? The box is supposed to move. This is very weird. All right. Let's see if I do this. Okay. Yeah. Mr. Grizzly is right. There we go. Let's try that. And it is not willing to cooperate. So how about I just do this? Okay. Here we go, kits and cubs.
Because no nurse, no teacher, no tradesperson should pay more than a billionaire flipping stocks. We've seen what happens when governments protect billionaires instead of everyday people. We don't need to look far, just south of the border. We won't let that happen. We won't let Trump's trade war become your burden to carry. We won't let him buy our public health care. We won't let him drive up drug prices. We won't let him come for our water, our minerals, or our workers. And we won't let anyone put indigenous rights or environmental protections on the negotiating table. Because this is our line, and we won't back down. This election is about who you trust to hold that line, to stand up when it counts, to fight not for the ultra-rich, but for you. The things we're proudest of as Canadians: universal health care, pensions, protections for workers. Those weren't gifts. They were won. They were won because people trusted New Democrats to fight for them. In the last parliament, we delivered dental care, the first steps of pharmacare, a ban on scab labor, 10 paid sick days. Now imagine what we could do with more New Democrats in Ottawa. Canada works better when New Democrats are there to hold the powerful to account. So if someone asks you, why vote NDP? Tell them this: because when we have power, we use it to fix what's broken, to protect what matters, to build a Canada that works for you, not just the ones cashing in while you struggle. Let's protect what makes Canada, Canada. Let's do it together. Thank you so much. Merci. 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 Mes amis, j'ai rencontré une mère célibataire.
All right, kids. My God. Mr. Grizzly was not wrong. Nothing is working. Oh my God. It's terrible. Okay, I do not know why I am now stuck in the corner and cannot change the screen whatsoever. Oh, what the hell, Restream? Okay. Wow. Okay, I'm not exactly sure what to do anymore. Wow. I think Mr. Grizzly has come back and is trying to fix the situation. There we go. Okay, thank you, sir. I have no idea, but it does not look. Oh no, I'm back. Okay. I'm getting the impression that with what Restream is doing, I might not be able to do the rest of the show the way I'd intended to, but I will give it a try and see what happens. So there we go. That was the end of the main part of the discourse for Mr. Singh. Unfortunately, the only way I was able to get out of there was by closing the feed altogether because yep, there's something that's happening with my mouse. It's or something. Things are not being as responsive as they need to be here. It's really, really weird. All right. So you see the end of. Oh my God, what is going on? Right. Now things are just starting on their own. So Mr. Singh, sorry, this is not the show I wanted to do, unfortunately, this way. Mr. Singh is finishing it off, finishes off his pitch, uh, with passion and vigor, and states why it is that Canadians can have trust in the NDP to bring that stuff forward. Um, then what comes next is the Q&A session, kits and cubs. But I think what I am going to do, uh, let's see. Oh, Mr. Grizzly just wrote to me here. Uh, Restream is working. It's trying to add features. So it's making it okay. So it's trying to add features as we are actually doing the live show. So yeah, okay. Yes, I can definitely understand your frustration, Mr. Grizzly. All right, so I will try to forge ahead, and hopefully it will work. Sorry, uh, this show is not flowing very well, and the politics is being cut by a lot of tech talk today. So this is for the people listening on podcast and watching live, a little tougher show for you to watch in terms of flow. So appreciating your patience and indulgence here. All right. So Mr. Singh makes his full pitch here, um, and states why it is that we should vote for NDP. Why it is uh, he and the Bloc are essentially making the same case that conservatives are not going to win. So it's probably best if we have a minority government, if that's going to be the case, rather than a majority government, so we could get some stuff done. Uh, that would be a great argument in normal times. Uh, and this time, I don't mean normal times in terms of, Trump and not Trump, but just normal times. It's an argument that usually works. But we just had a minority parliament where the conservatives couldn't overthrow the government alone or with one other party. They needed the help of two. Uh, we would be, if we had a minority liberal government, we would be heading into the same situation again. The NDP proved itself to be a not particularly reliable partner, ultimately, in the previous parliament. And with that type of parliament, well, from September, second week of September, I think, up until parliament closed, nothing except the GST holiday got passed because the other parties would not allow it because they were all protesting in some way, shape, or form. So one would have to ask oneself, why the hell would Canadians want to go back to that? That's the case for a majority government. They didn't actually set themselves up to make a case for saying, hey, what you really want is a minority parliament because that works better. Because, well, for the last year, it hasn't. It hasn't. They haven't been showing us that they could because they saw a moment of political advantage where they could all pile on Trudeau and maybe thought that they could each party increase their individual seat counts. And they didn't put country before party. They certainly didn't put you, the citizen, above their own ambitions. That's the Bloc, the NDP, and the Conservatives that are guilty of that. You can even say that of the Liberals by not wanting to get rid of Trudeau early enough. But all of them were putting their own ambitions above you. So for Jagmeet Singh to now be in front of the camera and say, hey, Canada, let's have another minority parliament again because I'm your guy. It's like, yeah, you're a guy in that you did get the anti-scab legislation onto the agenda. You did get dental care and pharmacare onto the agenda. The anti-scab legislation, we can give you full credit for your participation in that, seeing it through beginning to end. But pharmacare and dental care, we can't. I mean, honestly, we can't. Because you were prepared to let the government fall, and I mean, the government did fall. We are in an election before the full last phase of dental care has even been implemented. Should the Conservatives win this time around, they could have made sure that that doesn't go through. Mr. Singh likes to take the credit for having done it alone. But Mr. Credit got it, Mr. Singh got it on the agenda and then didn't do the work that he needed to do to see it through all the way to the end to make sure that it got done, was in place and entrenched. He pulled the plug way before that. He gave up on dental care and pharmacare before it was there for everybody to have it. That's fact. So, again, while I like his passion, and while I like the fact that he's trying to occupy that lane and being the only one that occupies that lane, and strategically he's found that lane and he's working it for all it's worth, I mean, he also has a track record. The pharmacare and dental care promises, he did not see them through until the end. Canadians could not rely on the NDP to make sure that they were fully implemented and entrenched. At some point, they got distracted and had another priority. The priorities are the things for which you make time. And after ripping up that confidence deal, that supply and confidence agreement, because he kind of abandoned ship a little bit, but then when he determined and started saying that if there was going to be a confidence vote, he would vote to take down the Liberals, he abandoned it completely. So, again, he's in this weird position of being the person that speaks for these things at the head of the party that traditionally speaks for these things and can be relied upon to do these things and talk about these things and put them on the agenda. But we've seen that. And when you add the Jack Layton era, when they made the government fall before the Kelowna Accords could be in place, and the first time we had a national child care agreement could be put in place, there's starting to be a track record here. This may be another reason why some people have started giving up on the NDP, is that they fight for it until they see an opportunity to get more seats. And then the fight for the things that we apparently all need and deserve and want gets left by the wayside for ambition. Now, one could maybe say they make the argument, saying, well, yes, but if we won our gamble, we'd be able to bring so much more of these things to you. Yes, but it's the NDP. The closest they got was official opposition. It was under Jack Layton. And again, to paraphrase an expression or a quote from south of us, Mr. Singh, you are no Jack Layton. So yeah, this is where playing the long game sometimes has much benefit, right? Because consistency of your actions over time does matter and matters a great deal. So when you say that you're the person that's going to be in the trenches, that's going to fight for something, that's going to fight for you and won't stop until it gets it done. But you have a party now that over the last 2 decades have pulled the plug on things before they actually got done. At some point, you've just cultivated a whole generation of people who don't believe it when you say it. And that's not it's not a good thing. It's strategically, long term, it's not good. Again, you might get some nanosecond wins, but after a while, people start asking questions, start thinking you're not particularly reliable. So that's my main problem here with these types of statements from the NDP. They might be a little too broad, considering what we just saw Mr. Singh do. All right, I have found the spot in the feed where the question and answer section starts. Hopefully, this will work. Now that Mr. Grizzly set us up again, he's pretty brilliant at these types of things. So I will leap into this with a full confidence. No. Okay. I will leap into, so that doesn't work. So maybe let me just check this. Yeah, I think we are in the exact same situation again, kits and cubs. Uh, uh, I think what happens is that I am set as the secondary camera and not the primary camera. And that is the problem that is going on here. All right. Hey, we'll try it like this and we'll see what happens. And if I'm stuck like this, um, we'll find a way to get through the show somehow. Okay. Kits and cubs, the question and answer period.
We'll take one question and one follow. Une question suivie, beginning with David Thurton of the CBC.
Hey, good morning, Mr. Singh. When the House returns, one of the first items on the agenda, I assume, will be a federal budget. What is the one item in your platform that you can tell us that the next government will have to implement or, put in their budget for you to either support it or to make their lives less of a hell in the next parliament?
Well, we're certainly going to give them hell. There's no question about that. That's what we do. We're going to make sure they're always putting people first. But I could break it down into two. I know you asked for one, but it's two really. One is affordability, and the other one is healthcare. And in affordability, we want to see measures that make life more affordable. That means bringing down the price of groceries. We've talked about a price cap on food essentials. This has worked in other countries. We want to see it happen here to stop the corporate grocery stores from ripping off Canadians. We want to see a price cap on food essentials. So that's really important. And then on housing and on homes, this is the other big stress for Canadians. We want to see real action to bring down the cost of homes, to build homes that people can actually afford. So those affordability, and then the second piece is healthcare. In this coming, the storm that we're in right now, with the threats from Donald Trump and the trade war, we want to make sure that there are no cuts to our healthcare. So in this next budget, we're going to fight back against any cuts.
And just a second question here. Your commitments will add $48 billion, if I understand that correctly, to the federal deficit over 4 years, and that's on top of what the deficit is projected to be over that time frame. So Canadians are probably wondering, and I'm certainly wondering, in a trade war, and certainly when your platform is trying to factor in a possible recession, can we afford this?
I really want to make this important distinction. In a difficult time, which a recession and a trade war represent some of the most difficult times, you can't cut your way out of those things. You actually have to make investments. Now, other parties are acknowledging that. Mark Carney's talked about making investments, but he's also talking about massive cuts. And the problem is what he's talking about in terms of cuts in his platform, he's confirmed there's going to be $28 billion in cuts, but he hasn't really laid out the details. And he has said, though, previously, that those cuts could come in healthcare and services. That is the wrong thing to do in a recession. When people are already vulnerable, when people are already worried and anxious and faced with uncertainty, cutting the very basic essentials like our healthcare and services is the last thing that we need to do. It's the wrong thing to do.
And it put me on mute. Okay, kits and cubs. You know what? Here's what I'm going to do. I am just going to end the show today because um, it's not working. And maybe it might be a good idea to try again later. Yeah, no, yeah, it's not working today, so I'm just going to cut my losses and just cut out for today because this is frustrating. It's about 2 hours in, and I'm not even close to getting half the content I wanted to get out today, and it's not coming out well, and I keep on throwing myself from being able to give you a smooth delivery. So yeah, I'm just going to cut my losses here, and we'll try again tomorrow. All right, kits and cubs. That's the end of this episode of the Daily Beaver Morning Show. Hope that you enjoyed listening to what it is that we were able to give to you today, because we love making this for you. I'm actually disappointed in our product today. Um, Remember, sharing is caring, and word of mouth is priceless. So please tell your peeps and poops all about us. If you would like to not miss an episode, you do not have to, thanks to our pod page, sponsored by the Ray Girl. That's podpage.com/the truenortheagerbeaver. Lowercase letters with a hyphen between each one of those words. If you go there and get to subscribe, click that, and when we have something fresh off the bandwidth, it will come directly to you. If you'd like to help us in other ways, kits and cubs, the QR code that is going to appear at the top corner here will bring you to our YouTube page, True North Eager Beaver Media Incorporated. Please go there, click our buttons, like, share, subscribe, and we appreciate that when you do it. It helps us with the algorithm. Thank you so much for that. If you'd like to help us in other ways, our coffee page, that's where our tip jar is. Coffee.ko-fi.com/eagerbeaver, all in one word. And if you could leave us a little something there to give us some encouragement, we would really appreciate that. Thank you so much. If you're not able to contribute financially, please do not worry. Of course, we know times are tough for everyone, and it's just like that. So thank you so much to everybody who was able to do something. Let's see, because democracy is something that you do, kits and cubs. Remember, liberal leadership race that will be coming out in June. Do what you need to do for that. Today is the last day to get your mail-in vote, and it has to be in by now. So you probably have to hand deliver it if you haven't mailed it in yet for the Manitoba Progressive Conservative leadership race. The results will be announced in 4 days on the 26th. And of course, for the federal election, today is your last day to vote early by going to your local local elections Canada's office, because the actual early voting offices are now closed until I think about 6 or 7 o'clock today is the limit. And after that, your only opportunity to vote will be to get your mail-in ballot if you haven't sent it in on time, and to vote on the 28th itself, election day. All right. I think that's everything there. Words of wisdom. When the universe is working against you, do your best. And when your best is not good enough, cut your losses and try again the next day. That's about my best advice. Again, I am deeply, deeply, deeply sorry that we were not able to meet our usual standard today. As Mr. Grizzly said, beyond our control. Again, you can tell. I am discombobulated and disconcerted and disappointed, and not up to my definitely thrown, because I'm not up to my usual smoothness and poise. And it's my frustration is clearly visible. All right, kits and cubs, thank you for all that you do to help us. We are very, very grateful. Join us tomorrow. It will be a better show, hopefully, because we will have our guest, Mr. Joss Miranda, with us, and he will be able to go through all the platforms. And yeah, all right. Mr. Beaver, cue the cock. You are listening to a True North Eager Beaver Media Incorporated podcast. The True North Eager Beaver podcasts are proudly brought to you by our founding sponsors, the Misfit Mysteries from Corvid Moon Publishing, your source for science fiction, fantasy, and cozy mysteries featuring a broad diversity of characters, CanadianTarot.com, their uniquely Canadian online eclectic tarot community, and the Peppermaster, hot pepper sauces made from farm-fresh ingredients to thrill your taste buds and expand your mind. We are grateful to the Crier Media Network for its support, Pete Jarvis for our artwork, and Paul Joseph Something for our opening and closing sequence music.